Good morning, students. I hope that you all are doing good. And we are doing chapter number 4, absorption by roots. And this is the chapter which is from the unit plant physiology. And we are discussing various physiological functions in the body of plant. Now, till now, we have discussed about the need of water and minerals in the plant. The next, we have seen the various characteristics of the root hair for the absorption of water and mineral. After that, we have seen some basic phenomena, and these are the diffusion. Then we have done osmosis, and then we have done osmotic pressure, in which we have seen there are three types of the solution, that is isotonic, hypertonic and hypertonic. And we have noticed that what is going to happen whenever we are placing a cell in these type of conditions. Now in today's video, we are going to discuss some more phenomena which is related to the absorption of water and minerals. So let's start our topic. Now the fourth phenomena is given as the active transport. So active transport is basically the passage of substance from its lower region to higher concentration. Remember students, in the above phenomena we have seen that the movement of the molecules is taking place from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration. But in this case, the salt or iron, that means these are the larger molecules which are going from a region of lower concentration to higher concentration. That means it is going against the concentration gradient through a living membrane using energy. And since it is going against the concentration gradient, it requires an energy, and the energy will be in the form of ATP. So please remember that whenever we talk about the energy, we are talking about the ATP. So here in this condition, the molecules of salt or iron, basically the salt is present in the form of mineral state or the ionic state. So these are generally going opposite to the concentration gradient, and since they are going opposite to the direction of the gravity, that means from the root to the shoot, so they require an extra force, and that extra force will be in the form of ATP. So simply we can say that active transport is in a direction opposite to that of diffusion, because it is going against the concentration gradient. If you see, it is given here that certain nutrients, just like nitrate, sulfate, potassium, zinc, manganese, they generally cannot pass through the cell membrane of the root cells easily. So because the concentration is higher inside the root and the concentration is lesser inside the soil, so they have to put a force, that means they have to enter forcibly into the root hairs, and for that they require an extra energy, and the extra energy will be in the form of ATP. So that means these molecules are generally going from region of lower concentration. Lower concentration is present in the soil and higher concentration is present in the sap of root. So for that they require the force, and when they are entering forcibly, that process is known as active transport. In diffusion, we have seen movement of particles or the molecules from region of higher concentration to lower concentration. That is also known as passive transport, because here there is no requirement of energy. On easily the molecules, they can pass from higher to lower concentration. But here the energy is required, and the energy will be a forcible energy, and this process is known as active transport. Now next is turgidity and flaccidity. You know that every living cells, they are having the cell sap. That means they are having the watery liquid part, or they are having the content inside the cell, and the root cells in particular are surrounded by the soil water. So root cells, they are always surrounded by the soil water, and all such cells are subjected to osmosis. Now at that region the osmosis will continue, and how long it will continue? Till it will come into the state of equilibrium. So whenever a cell reaches the state where it cannot accumulate any more water, that means a cell, when it comes to a state that after that no more water can be retained or absorbed by the cell, that condition is known as turgid. So एक ऐसा condition जहाँ पे किसी भी cell में जरूरत से ज़्यादा अब water retain लेने की या वाटर को अपने अंदर लेने की क्षमता नहीं होती है, दैट कंडीशन इज नोन एज टर्जिड. सो in exams the question is generally asked define turgidity. So turgidity is basically the state of cell where it cannot accommodate more amount of water from the surrounding. So whenever a cell is turgid, remember this point is very important. When a cell is turgid, its wall stretches under the pressure from inside, and in turn it presses the cell content toward the center of the cell. That means whenever a cell is turgid, in this condition the wall it just pushes a pressure into the content of the cell. Due to the content of the cell, it comes into the center of the cell. So wall भी क्या है, एक तरीके से धक्का लगाती है सेल पे, सेल के कंटेंट पे, ताकि जो सेल का कंटेंट है वो सेंटर में आ जाए. The pressure of the cell content on the cell wall is known as Turger pressure. So this pressure is known as the Turger pressure, and the pressure exerted by the cell wall on the cell content is known as the wall pressure. So here if you see, there are two type of pressure. First one is the Turger pressure. That means this content of the cell, it is putting pressure on the cell wall. Vice versa, the cell wall is in return, they are also putting a force into the cell content. So the wall which is putting pressure on the content, that is known as the wall pressure, and the force which is putting by the cell content to the wall of the cell, that is known as Turger pressure. So these two are very important topics, and these two definitions you must learn. Now anytime when a cell is unable to bear the Turger pressure, it ruptures and contents burst out. So as soon as the cell it reaches to the state of the turgidity, and since more amount of water is entering into the cell, what will happen? The cell will start burst. Cell जो है आपका burst हो जाएगा, due to which all the cell content it will come out from the cell. And we can say that whenever a cell is turgid, and we can say that this state is known as the balanced state, because here no more amount of water can come inside the cell, and no more water or the content of the cell can go outside to the environment. So this condition is known as the balanced state. Now the next topic is plasmolysis and flaccidity. See, when a living cell is placed in a fresh water, they remain in the balanced state. That means they can bear a certain amount of liquid inside, and the cells can become turgid, and this state is known as a balanced state. But if the same cell is put inside a condition where when we are putting 5% salt solution, that means in that condition after some time the cell will start bursting, because the cell it will lose all its cytoplasm, and due to which the cell will become shrink. So this shrinkage of the cell is known as plasmolysis. Remember, whenever this cell was in the fresh water, at that time there was no change in the cell, and the cell is in the turgid state. But the same cell, whenever it is put into the 5% sugar solution, now from the plasma membrane the cytoplasm comes out, due to which there is the shrinkage of the cell, and this process is known as plasmolysis, and the cell said to be state of flacid, or we can say flaccidity. Now flaccidity is basically the reverse of turgidity, because as you know that in the turgidity the cell starts swelling up, and it is having two types of pressure, the pressure from the cell content to the wall, that is known as Turger pressure, and the pressure from the wall to the cell content, that is known as wall pressure. But when a cell is become plasmolysed, there is no such force which is seen, and due to which, since there is no such force, the cell becomes smaller and smaller in size. Now if the same cell which is placed in the 5% sugar solution again we put into the water, the cell will start becoming larger and larger. That means they are taking more amount of water from the surrounding, and due to which it attains its rigid state, and this recovery or the reversal of the plasmolysis is known as deplasmolysis. कि सेल अपने वापस फिर नॉर्मल स्टेट पे आने लगेगा. अगेन द सेल वॉल it is putting pressure on the cell content, and again the cell content it is putting on pressure on the cell wall. So again it come back to a equilibrium, or we can say a balanced state, and that process is known as deplasmolysis. So here that some terms are given, and these terms you have to learn. The first one is the turgidity. Turgidity, that means whenever the cell is rigid, and when it is rigid, at that time the cell wall is putting the pressure on the content of the cell, and the cell content is putting pressure on the cell wall, and they are in the equilibrium state. Second one is plasmolysis, whenever there is a contraction of the cytoplasm from the cell, and due to which the cytoplasm it comes out from the cell, and there is the shrinkage of the cell, that is known as plasmolysis. And the third one is flaccidity, that means whenever the cell is shrunken, that condition is known as flaccid. For example, if we are putting grapes in a concentration of 5% sugar solution, then all the content of the grape will come out, and as a result the shape of the grapes will become too much curly, as well as the size of the grapes will become too much shorter in nature. Now, where is the use of turgidity in plants? Very important, this part. When there is not enough water in a leaf, it wilts. Of course, whenever the water is not in a sufficient amount in the leaves will start wilting. Leaf curl होने गिरने शुरू हो जाएंगे. Now, wilting of leaves is usually noticed whenever a plant is exposed to hot afternoon, whenever the amount of water lost during transpiration more than the water absorbed by the roots. So this question generally comes that why a plant wilt during the afternoon rather than in the morning or evening time. This question is already came in the board examination, and the reason for this, during the daytime, since there is a sunlight, there is a greater temperature. At this time the rate of transpiration is more. So please underline this part. Here the transpiration is more than the water absorbed through the roots. That means ज़्यादा amount में water जो बाहर जा रहा है in the form of vapor from the tip of the plant, और कम amount में root क्या कर रहे हैं, plant water को absorb कर रहे हैं. So that means they are not in the equilibrium state in which the loss of water is more than the retention of the water by the roots. So due to which there is a wilting of the leaves. Now in evening, whenever transpiration is reduced, since in evening the intensity of the light is not that much, at that time the quantity of water absorbed exceeds the loss of water through transpiration. At this time the absorption of the water will become greater than the water lost from the transpiration process. So due to this, again the leaves of the cells, they become turgid and they become stand still. So this is the reason why turgidity is important for the leaves. Remember, this question is previously asked in the board examination. Now the second example given here is the turgid pressure help to push through the hard ground. That means it is also helpful in the germinating of the seeds. So whenever we are putting the seeds underground, so after some time these seeds will come to the surface. How these seeds are coming to the surface? Because these seeds, whenever come in the contact of water, the seed starts swelling up, due to which a force is built, and due to that force it comes out from the ground, and from there the new plumule and the new radicle starts. Now third is the turgid pressure. The turgid in the roots will build up root pressure. Now the third important thing is that apart from a transpiration pull from the top of the plant, there is one other pressure that is known as root pressure. And this root pressure is created in the root region whenever the concentration of the sap is greater, and the concentration of sap, they start accumulating at one point. So due to which a pressure is exerted by the root, and that pressure is known as root pressure. So due to root pressure, the water and the minerals, they can lift up to the shoot system to some extent. So here in the diagram, in the figure it is given, and here in the manometer, if you see, the mercury level, it just rises whenever a cell sap is attached to this mercury. So that means from where the force is taking place, the force is taking place from the root of the plant, and that force is known as root pressure. Now, due to root pressure, the cell sap can rise in the tube up to the certain height only. So remember that due to this root pressure, the xylem vessel, it can conduct water and mineral to a certain height. It is not that it is taking water and mineral to the tip of the plant. No, but up to a certain limit in the stem region, they can extend that water and mineral. Now, loss of water through the cut. Now, if we are cutting the stem part, or if there is any injury at the stem part by any reason, this process is known as bleeding. So whenever there is a bleeding, there will be release of the sap from that part. कि उसमें से जो सेल का सैप है वो बाहर निकल जाएगा जिस भी पार्ट में कट लगे. जैसे हमारी बॉडी में जब कभी कट लगता है तो ब्लड बाहर आ जाता है. सिमिलरली whenever there is a cut in the stem region, the sap comes out from that region, and that is known as bleeding. Now next, turgor is also important for opening and the closing of stomatas. As you know that the stomatas, they are having the guard cells. So guard cells, they become turgid and they become flaccid. So both processes take place. So when it gets filled with the water, the guard cells, they become turgid and the stomatas open. And whenever they lose that water, the guard cells become flaccid. At that time, the stomatas get closed. So if you will read this paragraph, you will get to know that how the turgor pressure help in the opening and the closing of stomata. Next, it also help in the turgor movement. Basically, there are some plants which is basically sensitive to the touch. For example, the touch me not plant, that is Mimosa pudica. Now, this is how due to the turgor pressure. So whenever we are touching the plant, whenever touching the leaves within 2 to 3 seconds start to close. Why? Because there is a turgidity which start losing whenever we are touching the plant. So since it is touch sensitive, or we can say it is thigmotrophic. Thigmotrophic is basically a tropism which is related to the touch. So since it is a thigmotrophic plant, so as soon as when we are touching the leaf of the plant, it is losing its turgidity, due to which the cells or the leaves, it becomes flaccid and the leaves start closing. However, after some time, the leaf, it will again attain that turgor pressure and again the leaf will start opening. So these are basically the phenomena of turgor pressure and their role in the various parts of the plant. So various activity of the plant is conducted by the turgor pressure. So students, in the next video we are going to discuss about root pressure and the certain other topics which is left in the chapter, and after that we will complete the chapter. So I hope that you are able to understand today's topic. Just go through the chapter and read each and every line and every paragraph, and the things which I have said that it is important, please mark as important. I hope that you are able to understand today's topic. If you find any doubt, you can ask your query in WhatsApp. Thank you and have a great day.